Kevin Durant's plans in Brooklyn didn't go according to plan, as him, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden played a total of 16 games together over the last year and a half, which has opened up the door for Kevin Durant, if he's disgruntled, possibly to force a trade to the Golden State Warriors. So with that, I ask you this. If you'd welcome KD back to the Bay, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and let's hop into these Warriors rumors right now. Welcome into Golden State Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Senior. Coming up on today's show, could Kevin Durant come back and play for the Golden State Warriors, where he starred for a few years alongside Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, winning back-to-back NBA championships, and KD, 2 NBA Finals MVPs. So this coming from Colin Cowherd after he reacted to James Harden being sent from the Brooklyn Nets to the Philadelphia 76ers and Ben Simmons being dealt from Philadelphia to the Nets. Colin Cowherd said, if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm playing alongside a fake and a flake in Kyrie Irving, who's really never available, and you don't know what is ever on his mind. And now that James Harden is left, if I'm KD, I'd try to go back to Golden State, where I won a couple of championships and haven't reached that level of success since I left for the Brooklyn Nets. What a short-lived big three in Brooklyn it was for KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. In July of 2019, there was that sign-and trade between the Warriors and the Nets that sent KD to Brooklyn, and he signed with the Nets. In July of 2019, it was Kyrie Irving who followed Kevin Durant as the both players teamed up, and Kyrie went to Brooklyn as well. In December of 2020, after coming back from that torn Achilles, KD made his much anticipated debut with Brooklyn, and then in January 2021, with KD playing, Kyrie on the squad, the Nets made one of the most notable trades in the history of the NBA, dealing for the disgruntled James Harden in that deal with the Houston Rockets. So that put together a fascinating big three with three of the best offensive players that we have ever seen over the course of NBA history, but it didn't last long. February of 2022, the final installment in this timeline, and the big three is no longer. And they only played a total of 16 games together and only won a grand total of 1 playoff series. Now for Kevin Durant, it's an all-time bad business move, and we're going to look back on this in many years, and we're going to have this conversation once more. My goodness, what was Kevin Durant thinking? He had everything in front of him with the Golden State Warriors. They made it to 3 consecutive NBA Finals. Kevin Durant won 2 consecutive championships. If he doesn't get injured and Klay Thompson doesn't get hurt, I think they win 3 in a row, and it would have been harder for him to leave Golden State, but he had everything at his disposal. Superstar talent with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, a wonderful front office led by Bob Myers, a great coach in Steve Kerr, stability, structure, culture, accountability, and synergy. And those 4 players are probably the most exciting foursome of basketball players that we've ever seen on the floor together as teammates. And they really changed the game of basketball, and the style in which they played with, straight up glorious. So could we get this foursome back on the floor together at the Chase Center in San Francisco with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and Draymond Green working on their differences, which led to the departure of Kevin Durant so they can once again get back into that championship contention window? Kevin Durant's stats with Golden State. He went on to have one of the most efficient seasons, 4 in a row, 3 in a row, whatever it was, that we've really ever seen from an offensive player. Almost 26 points per game from 2016 to 2019, more than 7 rebounds, really good defensive player as well, and then his shooting splits flat out ridiculous. North of 52% from the field, over 38% from distance. On 2-pointers, he shot nearly 60%, and from the charity stripe, he was absolutely money. And Kevin Durant, after years of failing to reach expectations and having playoff flameouts with the Oklahoma City Thunder. We know that infamous series in which Klay Thompson went bonkers in OKC as the Thunder blew that 3-1 lead against the Golden State Warriors, which paved the way for the Warriors to win yet another title. KD left OKC and Russell Westbrook to team up with the team that he couldn't beat in the Warriors, and the rest was history. He was fabulous with the Dubs, though. 2 rings, 2 finals MVPs, and the clock is now ticking for Kevin Durant. The injuries are starting to pile up. He's always been somewhat brittle, and he cares about his legacy. We know that KD is somewhat sensitive, so does he want to continue to add on to that legacy and force a trade to go back to Golden State to chase more championships? Coming up in just a little while, I'm going to tell you about our trade idea, which I think could be pretty attractive for Brooklyn. But first, I want to ask you this question. You're in the shoes of Bob Myers. What would you do? Would you trade for Kevin Durant if the opportunity presented itself? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Get those votes in the comment section right now. Now, as I talked about, that trade idea is coming up here in just a few moments. So keep it locked here on Golden State Warriors today. But first, if you want to get swagged out with some fresh Warriors gear, we have you covered. Head to chatsports.com/Warriors Polo. For limited time only, you can get your hands on this really nice Warriors shirt that was $50 but now on sale for $40, only if you plug in that link down below. It's chatsports.com/Warriors Polo. To get one of the all-time greats, you have to give up a lot. And this trade doesn't include draft capital that the Brooklyn Nets might look to get back in a trade if they do want to send away Kevin Durant back to the Bay. So in this trade idea that actually works financially, I put it in to the ESPN trade machine. The Warriors get a familiar face back in KD. The Nets get a haul of some really good assets and young pieces. Andrew Wiggins going from the West Coast to the East Coast, as is James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, and Moses Moody. Now, General Manager Sean Marks, he might want draft capital back because he'd be looking at a rebuilding situation in Brooklyn, and he'd be giving away one of the best players of all time. I think this is somewhat realistic if KD goes the route that James Harden just did, where the Nets didn't have a lot of leverage, and KD forces his way out of Brooklyn and forces the Nets' hand to trade him away. As for his contract, you'd have to get rid of Andrew Wiggins as a salary matcher because KD's contract is large for one of the best players that we've ever seen. Next year, almost $43 million. Year after that, $46.5. 2024, 2025, it goes up to nearly $50. And the following year in 2025, 2026, it surpasses $50 million all the way up to $53 million. If you want a star, folks, you have to give up assets. That's the name of the game in the NBA. And if the Nets were to give away Kevin Durant, they want some pieces that would help them get back into playoff contention, streamline that rebuild, and not really miss a beat. And Wiseman has a boatload of potential. So too does Jonathan Kuminga as a two-way threat. Moses Moody in spurts this year has been a very good shooter, which we know nowadays has a lot of value in the NBA. And if the Warriors can't win a championship this year, maybe they look to trade away some of those young pieces. They tinker with that roster. They bring back KD, and they reunite him with Steph, Klay, Draymond, and they make another run at an NBA championship. We can't really understate how much these players care about all of their legacies. And Steph, Klay, Draymond, KD, they care about their legacies in a way where they want to be considered among the all-time greats. And being a part of that discussion is winning NBA championships. So if the Warriors don't win one this year, and I don't know if the Nets are going to, but let's say they don't, and they get thirsty to win a title and hoist the Larry O.B., maybe both sides get desperate, and maybe this trade happens. So who would win it if this trade was made official? GSW for the Dubs, BKN for the Nets. Get those votes in the comment section, and make sure you subscribe to Golden State Warriors Today by Chat Sports as we continue to grow like crazy. The NBA trade deadline is in the rear view, but our coverage doesn't stop here on the channel because we're giving you Warriors coverage all throughout the year. News, rumors, trade rumors, breaking news, Join the Dub Nation family here at Chat Sports. Hit that red subscribe button down below. Have a wonderful weekend, Dub Nation. We're going to continue to cover this basketball team, and we hope you join us alongside for that ride. Thank you so much for making today's show part of your day and watching Golden State Warriors today.